is going on, Summoners? We're back here today with another Champion Deep Dive. Today, we're talking about the Serpent. So, sit back and relax, because it's time to get into it. The Serpent enters the contest with primordial non-magnetic armor, granting him immunity to Power Lock, Special Lock, Heal Block, and Fate Seal effects. It also prevents his ability power rate from being reduced below 50% by non-Mystic champions. Additionally, he's immune to all Cold Snap effects, and reduces the duration of incoming bleed effects by 90%. Also, his combat power rate is reduced by 30%, cannot be reduced further, and he reduces the potency of incoming power drain and burn effects by 60%. Now, at the start of each fight, he gains a power gain buff granting 25% of max power over 8 seconds. This goes on cooldown for 8 seconds, and after which it triggers again. He also starts each fight with an indefinite fury buff for each persistent dread that he has. The Serpent starts each quest with 1 dread and gains another when winning a fight, maxing out at 3. Additionally, for each dread, the opponent's critical penetration and the potency of incoming instant damaging effects from champions are both reduced by 20%. While defending, he starts the fight with 3 dread charges. And also, whenever his opponent activates an unblockable or unstoppable effect, he inflicts a fear debuff for 10 seconds. Now, the Serpent gains Cold Force charges in different ways throughout the fight. He gains 1 charge when 1 or more of his personal buffs end, or are prevented by ability accuracy or immunity. 1 charge the first time an opponent dodges back during each of his special attacks. 1 charge per bar of power spent when the opponent is knocked down by a special attack, plus 1 more if knocked into the wall. And 1 when his power is drained or burned, with a cooldown of 2 seconds. Also, he loses 1 charge when knocked down by a special attack, plus another if knocked into the wall. As an attacker in Battlegrounds, he starts with 4 charges. And at 4 charges, he gains a 25% resistance up passive. At 8 charges, he gains a Pierce passive, and while this is active, attacks that strike the opponent or their block while their back is to the wall deal a burst of energy damage. And at 12 charges, attacks that cause evade or miss to fail deal a burst of direct damage. And striking the opponent's block causes personal power gains and furies for 0.35 seconds. Now, each time the Serpent gains a charge, he also gains a 40% inexorable passive for 3 seconds, plus 0.3 seconds per charge. This effect does not trigger if already active, and is removed when struck by a special. Inexorable champions cannot be pushed back by basic attacks, and the power they gain from being struck by basics is increased by the given potency. Cold Force charges max out at 16 stacks, and whenever he would gain 1 or more while at max charges, he instead gains a Fury passive for 60 seconds, maxing out at 20 stacks. Now, let's check out his special attacks. On activation of his Special 1, he inflicts a Fear debuff for 10 seconds. Additionally, projectile hits inflict instant cold snaps, dealing energy damage. With the Special 2, projectile hits deal a burst of direct damage, multiplied by 250% of the opponent's armor rating. And at the end of this attack, he gains a power gain buff, granting 15% of his max power over 5 seconds. Now, on activation of any of his special attacks, he gains a True Focus buff, countering evade and miss. This buff is removed when struck, but as a defender, only when struck by a special attack. Also, while active, the Serpent's special attacks cannot be avoided with the Dexterity Mastery. Additionally, he gains an unblockable passive for 0.65 seconds, and If the first hit breaks the opponent's block, it's paused, and as an attacker, the potency of his instant damage is increased by 70% until the end of the attack. The Special 3. At the end of this attack, he gains a non-stacking Hour of the Allfather passive, doubling all Hull Force charge and personal fury gain for 40 seconds. Additionally, if the Fury buff from Dread is not active, or if an Aptitude or Intensify is active, he reapplies it. Also, if this attack deals 0 damage, he gains a Power Gain buff, granting 2 bars of power over 1 second. Now, let's check out his signature ability. When awakened, each Hull Force charge grants up to 7.5% additional attack, scaling with how close the opponent is to the wall. Also, he gains immunity to stun effects during the opponent's special attacks. Additionally, once per fight, when he would be knocked out, he has a 125% chance to consume all Dread to gain a death immunity buff for up to 8 seconds. This buff cannot be staggered or nullified, and for each Dread consumed, this buff also recovers 1.25% of his max health, and grants 10% of a bar of power per second. Now, let's take him out for a spin in the champion rotation. To begin, strike the opponent and push them back towards the wall. Unless the opponent is immune to Cold Snap, you'll want to use your Special 1. If possible, finish your combo and delay slightly before launching the special to encourage the opponent to block, increasing your burst. Keep in mind, your Inexorable passive will make it easier to keep the opponent near their corner. And that True Focus buff you gain from special attacks might come in handy for countering miss and evade. From here, just keep launching your Special 1 and building your charges, watching your damage ramp as the fight goes on. Now, if you're fighting an opponent with a lot of armor, you might want to go for Special 2s instead. That way, you can take advantage of the increased burst multiplied by the opponent's armor rating. Plus, you'll gain more Hull Force charges and ramp that much faster. And if you take the Serpent questing, you'll notice his persistent Dread makes that Fury buff feel a lot juicier. And hey, in a longer fight, you could use your Special 3 to gain your Hour of the Allfather passive, doubling your Hull Force charge and passive Fury gain, making it quicker to ramp, and opening the door to some huge yellow numbers. The Serpent likes to play the long game, so the longer the fight goes on, the more his opponent will be punished. Thank you for watching this champion deep dive for the Serpent. And hey, if you liked the video and want to see more, click subscribe, like, comment, and share. And remember, we'll see you in the battle round.